One. And we are recording with Cherokee Indian Michael Ford and George Webb from an undisclosed location, maybe in a nuclear bunker, maybe in a Russian safe house, maybe he's at JM Wave in Miami.
Why don't I get Cherokee props too? I'm just as
Because
much
there can only
Cherokee.
be one, George. We can
Okay,
pull
all
off
right.
we got three white guys. We can convince the crowd that maybe one of them is partially Indian. If we try to pull this shit and say all three of us are, though true, will not be viable. We
No
gotta
reparations for
read
us.
none. Read the room, George. Read the room. And by
Gotcha.
that I mean there is no room and it's just us. But George, what have you been up to and why do you have a 101st Airborne shirt? I like it.
It's one of the shirts that was clean this morning. I actually went. Well, actually, that's a liberal use of the word clean. But anyway, I went and flew to Chattanooga, Tennessee, even though that's not where the 101 is. It's up in
You're in
Fort Campbell.
Georgia, right? Or North
Well,
Carolina.
Fort Benning is where a lot of special ops, but that do their jump training. But Fort Campbell is where they're based. So I was heading that way. I thought if I have any trouble, if I have the 101 on me, I'm going to be okay.
Makes perfect
I,
sense.
yeah, do anything so I don't have to tip. But I did a real interesting thing. I got my heart checked out because I thought people said, you had this J&J, you probably have myocarditis now because you interviewed Dr. McCullough, Tommy. And sure enough, this multifunction cardiogram, there's 3 myocarditis categories, and I had pluses in all of them.
No.
Yeah, I did. So yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Saw your tweet on that. That was not the best of news.
Fuck, dude. I'm perma-banned from Twitter, so I'm sorry that I didn't see that.
yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things with exercise, diet, and all that.
Sure.
It does have an impact. So yeah.
Jesus. What
Well, the
what
things that Tommy's been talking about, sauna. You should be looking into NIR, near infrared treatment. Also, a lady by the name of Doris Lowe, who's an independent health researcher. She's been researching melatonin and its uses for. Actually, she came up with a remedy for COVID that focuses almost solely on melatonin and ascorbic acid, vitamin C, and she has lately been gathering research. I think she was a concert violinist before COVID, and she started this deep dive into melatonin, and she's had her work published and cited. Now she's on to high dose melatonin. And the interesting thing about melatonin is it's a multitasking molecule, as they've discovered. It's not a hormone, and it is an antiviral, antioxidant, yada yada yada. But it also it also controls the substances in the body that move via biocondensates, and the COVID virus will transform or will shift into a biocondensate phase, and that's how it's able to, and many times, elude the body's immune system. And so the melatonin regulates all of this, and your gut produces 400 times more melatonin than every cell in the body produces melatonin, but the gut produces 400 times more than the pineal gland does. And I would highly recommend starting to do some look into melatonin. It's a real game changer.
Great. I was working with this multifunction cardiogram before the thing happened with Hamlin, with the guy, the heart attack. And then before, I think Lisa Presley was just a drug overdose or something related to her drug. But before all these people started going down, the kid at Air Force, and all the soccer players, the number in soccer, Dr. McCullough had said on, not on your show, Tommy, but on Tucker Carlson. I get those two mixed up sometimes. So
it's natural.
One of
He's
them
not
makes
even-
money. One of them makes money. The other yells at a camera in his bedroom. That's the only distinction. Pretty much the same guests, the same initials, TC. One of them makes a lot of money, and the other screams at a camera in a bedroom.
I think that people would may say that same thing anyway. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, he had talked about Tucker. He had talked about this European Soccer League or European Football League, and I guess there was 29 cardiac events a year, which is okay for the whole continent of Europe. That makes sense, and it had jumped to 1,598 or something, and then of course Americans don't care unless it's football.
Mm-hmm.
But then it happened on one guy, happens on live TV, and then it all blew up. So I had been kind of in their pipeline to do pre and post for people getting shots, pilots and stuff like that, if you're military or FAA. And then this thing hit. And then a guy named Steve Kirsch, a guy who's kind of taking the lead, putting money into early COVID therapies, he jumps behind this Heart Care Corp in Chattanooga where I was. So I finally went up there and got my test, and I found out the real news there. So there you go.
What is there to do about myocarditis? I mean,
well, I think like Mike said, I mean, I think you got to exercise, you got to change your diet, you got to those are the two big things.
I had to go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I already cut out drinking. I never smoked, so it's like, what's left?
Well, if it's fun and enjoyable, it's got to go.
I had viral actually when I took the Hep B vaccine because of I didn't actually have to take it, but I was a team player. I think I may have told you guys this, but about 20 years ago. And I had at the same time, as a result of the shot, I had viral myocarditis and viral hepatitis. I was tachycardic with 130 plus heartbeat for over a month. And I had no clue. I mean, I'd taken vaccines. My kids are fully vaccinated and yada, yada, yada. And then I started doing a deep dive, actually read the fine print on the Hep B vaccine, and myocarditis and viral hepatitis are both, viral hepatitis, duh, but myocarditis was a new one. But they were both known side effects of the Hep B vaccine. And so that took me, I was literally on my deathbed 20 years ago. And that's really kind of where I started doing my deep dive on vaccines. But I also had myocarditis with COVID when it first came out, and back in September of 20, was it 20? God, that time flies. And I started doing, what nutritional supplements can you do to get the heart back into shape? And so magnesium taurate is a very important. The taurate form of magnesium is very helpful from any kind of irregularities within the heart, and then also cordyceps. And cordyceps is a mushroom, and it's extremely efficacious for resettling cardiac issues and other things. And there's a couple other ones I won't bore you with, but
garlic's really good for the heart. I think
garlic's good.
Fish oil, phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylcholine.
Yeah. So for the brain fog, the stack is the stack that I use, because I also had brain fog, which was PS100,
carnitine, alpha lipoic acid, lion's mane mushroom, alpha
uridine,
GPC.
and alpha GPC, and and then I take another thing, and those, over the span of about 8 months, finally I'm getting back to where if I think about a person, I can remember their name. If I think about some fact or whatever, I can finally recall it. But I'm actually outperforming my wife now, so that's quite a thing.
Bacapa, Moneri, that's an herb. Huperzine A.
Yep.
French maritime bark extract. Resveratrol. Citicoline. I read Ray Kurzweil's book about living forever when I was a sophomore in high school, like a normal kid. And he was just talking about all these supplements: alpha lipoic acid, acetyl-L-carnitine, resveratrol, green tea extract, grapeseed extract, all this shit. And I looked into it, and I was I did the math, and I think if like you ordered them in bulk, it cost you like $30 a month. And as a high schooler, that was big dick energy money. But so I started taking this shit in like high school, did all throughout college, and I have for like the last 20 years, I've just been taking like, I mean, probably like 20 or 30 pills a day, just these like supplements, because it's just been like, oh, it's so I've just kind of like learned all this different shit that's like the main ones, the ones that are like clinically proven to help. And you can take all this shit. L-glutathione is really good for the brain.
Glutathione. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, a
Yep.
bunch of different shit. And if you look at Silicon Valley billionaires, I mean, they'll go to the next step. If you've really got money, you can go get, injections of stuff, and but really pushing longevity. But the interesting thing about it is you don't have to have the intention of living forever. You can just want to keep I look at it more as like functional lifespan. I mean, if I make it to like 70, that's cool for me. I mean, whatever, I'm 32 now. I've had a good time already. I just want to be like, I want to be functional, right? I've interviewed people on here that are 79, 82, 85, 87, 93, and they're all there mentally, and they still have lives. That's where I see the value in. I don't really give a shit about the number of years. I just want to.
We're wired for 120, man. Don't sell yourself short.
Me and George are going to live for 500. We're going to plug ourselves into a computer. Me and George are blackmailing Bezos, and he's going to upload us into some DARPA brain.
I just wanted to get all that stuff that you said, Tommy, but I don't want to think about it. I just wanted it to be in my Impossible Burger. Can we do that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I should get sponsored by them, though. There is a company that I've been ordering this shit from since like 2010. I think it's called Swanson Supplements. I can send you the list of stuff I take. I think it really comes out to about $30 a month. I just dump. I guess at the beginning.
You
of
do
each
bulk
month,
though. You do bulk though, right?
Yeah. Well, at the
Okay.
beginning of each month, I have like 30 bottles, and I'll just fill them all up. So there's really no reason not to take it, because if you have to like unscrew 30 different supplements a day, you're not going to do it. But what I do is I just put them in these little plastic containers, and I just put it next to my sink. And at the end of the day, when I'm eating, I just down it with a bottle of water. And I've been doing that.
Okay,
like,
so you just do powder form. Okay.
No. They're capsules, but I just put them all in a one
okay.
like prescription bottle. I just open it up and just, I mean, really water bottle, just
And
down
all of those for $30 a month?
Yeah.
Holy
No, you
crap.
buy them in bulk. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's,
Okay.
I mean, you can get more and more in depth,
Okay.
but
Bulk. Okay. I'm with you now. Yeah.
I've just kept, you can go a lot more in bulk, like in depth, and probably spend hundreds of bucks a month. But to me, I always looked at it as just like I only work out 20 minutes a day, because that's how I convince myself to go every day. And I've been doing it every day for about 21 years now, is because it's only 20 minutes. So no matter how tired you are, you wake up, you go, I can do 20. That's how I get it done. Same thing with supplements. I'm like, no matter how like bad my job situation is I can do $30 a month. That's $1 a day. And if you put it all,
that's actually incredible for the amount that you're taking. That's,
and then I just put them in like prescription bottles like this. And I do take like, it takes like an hour at the beginning of every month. I do it on the first day. I just fill up 30 different bottles with them, and I put them in a cabinet. And at the end of each day, I just grab one down. I've been doing it for about 20 years now, and I don't think I'm dying. I mean, I am technically dying, but I feel good.
Just get your telomeres measured and see how
George
long
is
they
the
are.
unwitting victim, because Mike and I are actually sponsored by GNC and Swanson Supplements. We're using this as an infomercial.
Jaro, you forgot Jaro.
We're just bringing it down. We're like, George, have you heard of alpha lipoic acid by GNC, specifically in this formulation? Did you know that? And then all of a sudden, like the rock
Sorry,
comes
George.
on screen. Yeah.
The placements. I love it. That's
George is opening up about myocarditis, and I'm like, well, let me beat you over the head for some cash. If you just take out your credit card, George, I can make all these problems go away.
Yeah, well, I guess I deserve it in a way. There really was a lot of choices that, people don't remember this, but if you're in the health profession, you had to take the jab, otherwise you can't come back to work. You say the word ivermectin, you lose your job. You want to play in a volleyball tournament outside and see your kids, the one year when you normally see your kids, that's the only chance you have. You want to go over with the family at Christmas or Thanksgiving. There's all these family fights that happen. I don't know why I'm dinging. I'm sorry, guys.
No. You're making what happened was nothing less than unethical and in many ways illegal medical coercion. That's the
Yeah.
reason why we had the Nuremberg trials, is we're now seeing it. It's because they say if you want to go have fun, you got to do this. And then a year later, you go get checked up and you find out you have myocarditis. You go, how the fuck was that legal? It wasn't. And it sucks. You got bulldozed.
I mean, I thought mRNA was experimental. I didn't take mRNA. I took what Bob Malone took because I figured if anything's going to be what the winners are going to have, it's going to be whatever he takes.
Yeah.
So I followed his lead with the J&J, but here we are. So.
Well, I think you're probably better off still. I mean, not having the mRNA.
Yeah.
McCullough's talking about now about the risk of exosomal transfer has been there, horizontal transfer like prion disease, mad cow disease. I think everybody's getting vaccinated with this mRNA stuff, no matter where you go in the public. And I think just recently, it wasn't recently, it was in the Pfizer documents and their studies that said that your exposure during pregnancy, not yours, George, but exposure during pregnancy would be considered if a pregnant person was in the same room as or contacted by a person who had been vaccinated. So, just this, exosome transfer by exosomes has been known, forever. And that's how we're all getting doses of the mRNA stuff. Yeah, and you had mentioned in your Twitter, I wanted to say this, probably the most effective thing you could say, you talked about, right? Calorie restriction was intermittent fasting. And you had mentioned that. And I think for anybody, regardless of your situation, that's probably the most effective way to help your immune system renew itself is number one, through intermittent fasting. But if you can actually fast to a 72-hour point, just a water fast, which is damn difficult for a lot of people. But once you get to 72 hours, you basically completely remake your immune system. So if the mRNA has not made it to the stem cells where it's going to, it's in your body and your blood forming organs and in your bone marrow, then you're in a good situation where you can basically remake and reject and create, drive senescence and get a remake of your body. If you do that once a month for a year, you'll be in a much better shape. That's really what I'm focusing on is going through several fasts this year to try and kind of rebuild the body.
The 72-hour version, you're doing the 72-hour water only.
Yeah, you can also do so you can do a 72-hour fast, and you can do something like with the amino acid complex that I take. It's 11 different amino acids, and those will not trip the over 50. Typically, I think it's 50 calories, somewhere around there is your typically what the metabolic trigger is to get you out of a fast. So, and those won't trigger it at all, and so that'll keep you from going through a muscle wasting phase. And but to be able to do that, so for everybody who's listening to this, if you don't, Tommy's got a great regimen. A lot of people will not go through the whole capsule thing. They just don't have the discipline to do that. And but if you just try and eat in an 8-hour window, intermittent fasting, you'll much be better off, which I think was what your cardiologist was recommending, and because it's less of a burden on the body. But if you can get to start with a 24-hour fast, and then next week try a 48-hour, then the next week try a 72-hour. And once you get to the 72-hour thing, you get a complete remake of your immune system. All the cells turn over, and it's called senescence. They're all driven to senescence, autophagy, and out they go.
I do daily fasting. I never really set out to do it. It's just what I do. But I mean, I find that on days I don't work out, I'm so much hungrier, which seems counterintuitive, but there's something that happens during like intense exercise. I've noticed it just 20 years of going to the gym. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I go to the gym because it just shuts off my hunger. So I wake up at noon every day, right? Because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But I do. I wake up I literally have an alarm for noon. I wake up at noon every day. I go to the gym. I'm doing a podcast by 2:00. By the time any sort of like hunger starts, so maybe like 2 hours later, I'll consume coffee, caffeine, just some 0-calorie caffeine, and that I'll do back to back or sometimes 3 podcasts. Now you're in the work phase, and in college for me it was studying, but it's something where you're now mentally taxed. You don't have time to think about being hungry, so you're staying busy, right? So now I'm moving from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Like right now we're at 4:30. This one will end around 5. Okay, and then I normally takes about an hour to export everything through iMovie, upload it to Rumble, Spotify, post the links, send it to the guests. There's like another hour, so now we're at 6 hours afternoon. Around then I'll normally like call my mom or something, and then I'll talk to her, and then I'll start playing video games. And so now I'm engaged in something, but instead of being busy, it's like, oh, I'm having fun. I'll hang out with my friends on Discord or something. Around 7 or 8 is when the hunger suppression of exercise, caffeine, and being busy starts to fade off. And that's when, so I'll eat at like 8. And like right now I'm trying to lose weight. So right now I'm eating like 1,300 calories a day. I've been doing that every day since September 1st, except for Christmas and Thanksgiving. But I'm still trying to lose weight I put on after my brother died. I'm going on like 10 years trying to get rid of this shit. But I'll do that, and I'll drink a ton of water, and I'll go get every day. I go get like a bin of spinach. So no matter what I'm eating, it's just eggs or chicken or something. I'll just sit there like a caveman. I'll take a bite of the chicken and then just a handful. If anyone watched me eat, it's very unnerving because it's chicken and then it's an entire hand of just spin. And I literally do this. I put my face over the bin like a trough, and I go, and then I chew it. And then the key is to eat it as
25 times
until the fucking meal's over. I'll eat the entire thing. And you have to do it quickly because the spinach will like expand in your stomach like a brick. So then you can't really see it, but I have my recliner chair over there. You can see the edge of it. When I have this brick of spinach and chicken in me, then like one of those things you put in a bathtub, like one of those expanding things, drink water. Now that brick in you will expand, and you will be so fucking full, you feel like you just went to Golden Corral. And so now the key is this. It sounds silly, but there's a science to it. Now I can't move, and I'll sit in my chair almost pregnant with this massive trunk of spinach and like a gallon of water and lean chicken in my stomach. And now I'm not hungry anymore. I actually feel sick. And so then I'll just play video games. And by the time, but it's kind of like sushi, you will start to get hungry again. But it takes a couple hours. So by then it's around midnight or 1 a.m, and the hunger starts to come in again. But by then I'm playing video games and I go to bed around 3. So if you actually break it all down, I'm really only hungry from about 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And I'm like, just don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. Then I go to bed. As soon as you fall asleep, your body actually does release a hormone that makes you less hungry. It's not just that you're tired. Go to bed starving. Wake up 2 hours later to go to the bathroom, you're not thinking about food. It's literally not there. So you get to then cheat. You get to sleep through 8 hours of hunger. By the time you wake up and you feel hungry, go to the gym, it suppresses it. So if you can do a system like this and that's one of the reasons why I stay so busy. You don't have to fast for 24 hours. You're really only going through the feeling of hunger for me, it's about 2 hours. But you get the benefit of since September 1st, I was 219 pounds on September 1st. Now I'm 189.
Excellent.
You can do it. But you have to find your own rhythm. And I find that staying busy, caffeine, exercise, and sleep, you can cut out a lot of it, right? You can fall asleep on a plane and just wake up at your destination. Like you can, if you can do it correctly, you can actually not, if you try to diet and you don't have anything to do and you're on an off day, you're going to make it about an hour because you're just sitting there going, I'm so fucking hungry. I'm so fucking hungry. You can't diet on off days. When I take an off day, that's also coincidentally my cheat day because I have nothing to fucking do. And I'm like, I'm so goddamn hungry. But if you stay busy all day and you're just doing shit, you don't have time to be hungry. And it's not that either of you asked for that rant, but you got it. I would highly recommend, if you take away anything from that, take the biggest container of spinach you can find. And it's like when you're in college and you take a swig of vodka and then a swig of soda just to get it down. look at spinach the same way. You just take a handful of it, chicken, steak, sushi, whatever the fuck you're eating, take a little bit of that tasty protein, and then you just shovel a brick like you're a goddamn brontosaurus into your throat and chew it. It's disgusting. There's nothing you can add to spinach to make it feel better. Don't even attempt. Resistance is futile. Get the brick in your tummy, and you'll start to, I don't know, I've lost about 30 pounds. So again, not that either of you asked for that, but
that's called OMAD, by the way. 1 meal a day. A lot of people do OMAD.
Yeah,
not a lot of people, but
I eat for about 30 minutes. I eat in about a 30-minute window every day,
and you consume all your calories in that window, and that's it. And then
I'm also dieting. If I was in college, when I was at the fat percentage I wanted, and I was in pure muscle building mode, I was consuming anywhere from 2,700 to 3,200 calories a day because I was just building muscle. I have the muscle I want right now, so I'm trying to lose fat. So I'm going as low as about anywhere from 12 to 1,300 calories a day, which I don't know if that's wise. I think there's actually a lot of bad things about that, but I'm impatient and I don't give a shit. So I'm just doing that. But
what's your BMR say to your base metabolic or
my base metabolic rate says with the amount of exercise I'm doing, I should be consuming like 2,800 calories a day. So I'm doing a little under half of that. Again, not sure if it's intelligent, but it hasn't killed me yet, and I feel a lot better. So,
are you doing aminos?
Yeah, before I work out, when I wake up, I take like 2 scoops of all the like full spectrum amino acids and electrolytes and shit.
All right. Yeah.
The ringing happening in the background is all these people saying, hey, so-and-so's talking about you. Hey, so-and-so's talking about you. There are all these other radio and YouTube people that are saying you're the new poster child for the idiot who got the vaccine.
This is going to be so misconstrued because everyone's going to be like, did you see this poor fucking member of the 101st Airborne got myocarditis? This is going to be a form of stolen valor. I didn't even know existed.
I was never in the service. My brother was the one in the Air Force, the guy who got shot down. My dad, Guadalcanal. But I am. This is, my phone's ringing off the hook here. They're talking about you, idiot. So I'm interested in now going over to Mike because you told us what you do. I'm not sure that's the best, but it's
I don't recommend what I'm doing, by the way.
Yeah, the brick of spinach, vodka.
No. Legally, I don't recommend what I'm doing. It's worked, but I have no idea if in like a month we're gonna be like, yeah, Tommy, he had that podcast, but he was really trying to diet. I mean, first ever case of spinach overdose. I mean, poor guy, 32, dead. So legally don't do what I'm doing.
Well, I'm interested in Mike has.
Well, yeah, I cook my beautiful wife here, and so I cook a lot. And I don't know that she'd go for the raw spinach too. I mean, she likes spinach salads, but the whole raw spinach thing. But what we both do is we try to eat in an 8-hour window, which I typically don't eat until afternoon. My first meal's not until afternoon. Sometimes it's like 3:00, and then she gets home, and I was like, I'm not really hungry, honey. She's like, oh, great, you ate at 3, wonderful. But anyway, to try and maintain marital harmony, I try to get it back toward closer to noon. And then so between noon and 6, I guess, is typically where we'll try and eat, 6 to 7. And so that's our intermittent fasting. And then, as I said, I'll go on occasionally I'll go on a 72-hour fast. Right now, I'm making my 60th trip around the sun this year. And so I'm at 260, which is not where I want to be. 6'4", 260, and I'm not happy with that at all. I wanted to get down to 215. So I'm going to announce this publicly that I'm going to do this in a healthy way. I'm going to get down to 215, 220-ish, right around there. So Tommy, I'm announcing this on your podcast. I want some public accountability.
Well, that's the way to
George, do it. I mean, what we also do is I'm a Wim Hof kind of an acolyte here. I do his breathing techniques. I do cold showers. We have it's like 42 degrees coming out of the tap right now where I live, and it's very, very invigorating. I'd love to get a cold plunge, but that will be the next step. Also doing infrared saunas. I've got a class 2 medical device for near infrared light, red light. It has been very beneficial to me and my wife for just restoring things like I had bilateral from COVID. I had bilateral neuropathy in my feet. It's reversed that. It's actually restored kind of I had basically tingling in my middle toes on both feet. And that's been basically repaired through the NIR stuff. So I'm excited for you because you can show basically through the naysayers that you have this condition now, and then I'm excited to see like what you do to get it back into the green, into the right phases, because Peter McCall will say some things are not reversible. I don't completely believe that because, like I said, I had myocarditis 20 years ago, and I've had a clean bill of health for the last. Well, my cardiologist released me after 5 years of tracking, and so I passed several things, and I did a lot to fix it then, and I've had to go back and remember how to fix it again after I had COVID, and that was fun battling through all the brain fog, but just doing it. I mean, complete shutdown on all on any medical advice there. We all had to become independent medical researchers ourselves, and so I was like, along with Tommy, was doing significant deep dives into why alpha GPC works, why uridine works, why PS100 works specifically for things like COVID or prion protein damage to the brain, and so I'm excited to see where you're going to be in 6 months and go back. And when's your follow-up?
I think it's going to be in a month.
Okay.
We didn't schedule it per se, but so you threw down the gauntlet. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet. We'll go for Tommy's gauntlet here in a second. I'm 295, 6'8". Yeah, Tommy gun. And so, but this one
You're
was
6'8".
I'm 6'8". Yeah.
You're 6'8".
Yeah, I got to come up to Maine. I'll meet you. Yeah.
You're 6'8".
I got to come up and meet you. You'll see how big I am. Yes, I am.
Jesus Christ. I always figured you were 6 foot. I don't believe you. I think you're fucking with me.
I'm coming up. Portland,
right.
Here I come.
Hence, he dropped the volleyball hint there. The volleyball. I have a sense that he has some tall children too.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm 5'9". All right.
This is what really throws you is if you want to put me on the big 32.7, you divide the weight
Oh
by
God.
And
oh God.
32.4, excuse me, BMI. So I want to get that to 25. My cardiologist says 25. Dr. Shen is fantastic. He's like, well, you're really in big trouble. So, but we're going to get you. We're going to save you. And I've never been talked to that before because I was an athlete all my life. Yeah. So it does shake you up though. And that's why I'm all ears right now. Because especially what Mike said, if I get rid of this viral thing in my heart, because that is something that if it did, Dr. McCullough was saying, and Dr. Cottrell, that it could change the polarization wave going across there from the SA node and the Purkinje fibers and all that stuff Tommy knows about for building a heart when he was 8 years old. That could be the end of it. You don't get another chance if you miss out for a couple of minutes of oxygen.
Well, yeah. I mean, losing oxygen to the brain. I mean, there's no wiggle room there. I mean,
hence the emphasis on breathing. Getting really working on the breath exercises. There's little things like this that you can get that will help with you do your breathing exercises, strengthen the heart, strengthen the lungs. Here, I'll do this. So this is before and after. George, and we're all probably oversharing, but this is before and after. I was like super sick, and then this is now.
It's very blurry.
Here we go. There we go.
There we go.
That was what my BMI did, and I'm just below 32 on the last time I measured. I was 32.1 a week ago. Now I'm 31.9. So I'm figuring like a pound a week if I can get take care of that. That's a healthy weight loss. I just got my brand new e-board, motorized skateboard, I'm loving the heck out of that. Throwing myself back in the 70s, and just enjoying the whole thing. The other thing I'd say, Tommy, is on your 20-minute, and this is for us as well, George, in terms of loss of muscle as we get older. Look into X3 if you want to get a great workout in 20 minutes. 4 exercises, 1 rep, or not 1 rep, but 1 set per each exercise. Look at X3, Dr. John Jockwish's system. It's highly counterintuitive, but it's really good.
I found a way that really helps people get into shit. And I always was giving exercise advice for years. And then I took, after my brother died, I took a couple of years off, just fucking depressed, eating, drinking. But I kind of took my own advice from college, and I started last January. And what I would do is my workout, I would do 5 push-ups, and then I would do a plank, on your elbows and your toes for 5 seconds. I would do a wall sit for 5 seconds, and then I would do 1 pull-up. And that's all I made myself do. But I would do it every day for 30 days. And then the 1st of February, I bumped everything up by 5, except for pull-ups. I bumped up by 1. So I would do 10 push-ups, 10 seconds of planks, 10 seconds of wall sits, 2 pull-ups. And that was it. And it sounds simple, and it's because it is. By making it so simple that you have no rational reason to not do it, even if you don't sleep, you can do it because it takes a minute. By March, you add 5 more. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Now I'm up to, maybe I didn't start last January. Maybe I started before. Now I'm up to 85 push-ups, 85 seconds of planks, 85 seconds of wall sits, and 15 military pull-ups. And then I do my own weight thing after. But you never once feel like you're increasing that much, because you're at any given month, you're only going up. The first of the month, you're going up by 5 more push-ups. But by the time you've conquered whatever you're doing beforehand, that's now your new baseline. So you're really only ever pushing yourself the relative equivalent of, can you do 5 push-ups? Because if you've been doing 60, that doesn't count anymore. You can just do 60. Oh, I gotta do 65. But really, you're only adding 5 more. And it doesn't feel like much, but snap your fingers, and now I can crank out 85 push-ups. And people in the gym how the fuck did you just do that? I'm I don't know. But you just do a little bit each day. And that's what I would tell people to do, is find the smallest repeatable factor that you can do every single day. I do 1 or 2 episodes a day. This is episode 1055. They add up. Don't blink. They add up. That's what I would say with exercise, weightlifting. Keep your workout under 5 minutes. If you've never been someone that's consistently gone to the gym, don't go for these lofty goals of, I'm going to do 90 hours of working out a day. No, you're not. You might do it once. You'll probably be able to do it once. But the first day you didn't sleep enough, or you have a little bit of a sore throat or whatever, you're going to skip it. And then that's going to spiral, and 9 more months go by, and you're going to go, how the fuck did that happen again? Choose the smallest increment that you can possibly do, and then do that. And you'll be shocked at just how quickly you're doing a hardcore workout, and it doesn't even feel like it. So don't take anybody that's built muscle. Don't look at this podcast and be oh, you've done 1,000 episodes. No, I've done 1,000 episodes because I'm lazy enough to do 2. That's all I'm ever doing. I haven't done 1,000 episodes. I've done 2. Today, this is the 3rd episode I've done today. I've done 3. That's all I'm ever doing. And then the days just add up, and you look back and you go, oh, another 100, another 100, another 100, another 100. Keep it. I don't mistake discipline and hard work for what is actual tactical laziness. I know how much I'm capable of doing. How do you diet? Easy. I play video games and I eat spinach till I puke. It's not some just fight through it. No, it is the opposite of Delta Force. It is pure just pussy laziness. But just do it repetitively, and it'll add up.
What
compelling.
do you think about you have the same guest Tucker Carlson has. You've had Bob Malone on, I think, about 12 times or something.
I've had on McCullough and Malone more than Tucker has. Go on.
Yeah, and McCullough loves you and Malone loves you. And I think, so what is like, let's just move, as long as we're going to do the Tim Ferriss thing, the 4-hour work week, the 4-hour workout, the 4-hour everything. Yours is the 4-minute though, right?
So,
Why don't we talk about how did you get these guys? Just email them. Hey, I'm Tommy.
again, what you're not seeing is you're not seeing the number of emails that I don't get responses to. So like you see, you've had Bob Malone on, you've had whoever on. You're not seeing truly, 30 other emails that just don't even get responded to. I take it as a win when someone responds to me and says no. I'm like, hey, they acknowledge
Open
I
my
exist.
email.
They're not a bot. It's not a cease and desist, right? It's just, and then, but all you got to do is, so let's take it back to what happens when you actually do finally get them. It's that quote that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So the other part of sleeping 8 hours a night, because if you don't sleep, you'll also be very, very hungry. That's a proven thing. You just subjectively feel hungrier when you don't sleep enough. So all these things around like weightlifting and dieting and all this stuff tied into, well, what do I do when I do go to the gym? What do I do in those first 2 hours? I listen to an audiobook on 2x speed, regardless of who the author is, as long as it's nonfiction and I'm learning something. That gives you stuff to talk about. So you do all this stuff, you meditate, you exercise, blah, blah, blah. You do the podcast. You just always show up like you treat every episode like I'm interviewing Elon Musk and it's going to be retweeted by Joe Rogan. This is the one that people see. You treat every episode like truly this is the only one that anyone will ever see. Not just the audience, but also the guest. You want to be completely engaged. That is the most respectful thing you can do is show up energized, focused. Don't have your fucking phone on. You're giving them, for better or worse, 110% energy. You're telling them you eat spinach till you puke, whatever. Go all in. If they have a book, you read the book, you understand the book, and you just give them an hour of your utmost. You just treat it like this is the golden one. And that person they'll leave with a good taste in their mouth. They'll be like, dude, that was fucking fun. That guy was fully engaged. He's a little unstable, but he's completely engaged, right? You just treat them with respect. Don't put words in their mouth. Don't do any gotcha journalism. And then at the very least, if they know someone else, they'll be like, hey, man, I had a great interview with this guy. And you do that. And again, you just repeat that day in and day out for 1,000 days. I really don't think I could find a guest that said they had a bad experience on here. I've never had a guest reject a second episode invite. So again, you might look at a Robert Malone or a Peter McCullough. There's an infinite number that you haven't seen that just said no. So the ones that you do get, treat it like this is the only episode you have. It's the last episode you're doing. It's the only episode you're going to be remembered for. And it doesn't matter who it is. Treat them like you're talking to the president and just give it your all. And they'll remember that. People like that. And it's not that hard, because when most people just show up and give you a shit product, all you have to do is the person that's not shitting on them, and they remember it fondly. So it's just hyper polished, hyper perfection in a small block of time, be it 20 minutes in the gym, be it only eating for an hour, or be it doing 2 podcasts a day. Just deliver your absolute most polished diamond. And then for the other 20 hours a day, you can just be a fat, lazy piece of shit full of spinach. It's actually very easy.
So I want to ask Mike, how did Tommy get your first interview? You guys?
So we had put together a locally here in Texas. We had put together an organization called Pray for Freedom, and it was freedom advocacy. It was very much in the anti-mandate genre, and we were fighting back against some of the mandates locally. We had invited Peter McCullough up here, and you'll hear him talk about on like the Joe Rogan podcast. He's talked about it on many different podcasts. We actually set up a doctor's meeting because it was like forbidden for the doctors to hear any other mantra other than the fact that, what the hospitals were giving out and the local medical association. So we set up a differing professional opinion meeting between Peter McCullough and 100 local physicians. We had it out at a of course we had it at a country club, and it was very well attended. And the doctors came in there and they got to hear a completely different perspective on COVID than what they had been hearing, and many of them were shocked and whatnot. So we had a fantastic meeting with them that would last. It was supposed to be an hour, lasted for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then we took Dr. McCullough over to a public. We had a public event set up, and there were about 1,000 people there at the time. It was a local church, and he held forth for another close to 2 hours. Just a wonderful man. And then we went and had dinner, and then my wife and we picked him up from the airport, and then we took him to the airport, and we've kept in touch. And he was extremely generous. He gave me basically all of his media contacts, and including Tommy.
I think he put us in touch.
Yeah, and so I reached out to Tommy, and he also had there were others too that were also, well, I would say everybody was responsive, but that was the way that happened. That was the way we were connected, and I would just Steve Kirsch was one of them, and man. Interesting fellow. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know if Tommy, if you've talked to him, or George, you've talked to Steve Kirsch, but
I've interviewed him. He's definitely, I would say there's an intensity there. I mean, the dude's worth more money than God. I don't think you get there by being
yeah, I had one podcast with him. I don't think he ever published it. We were supposed to meet at a time certain. I got on the Zoom with it, and then it was like I'm rearranging my sock drawer, so another 30 minutes, and then another 30 minutes. I was like, okay, I have other things to do, so whatever. Then he texts me again, let's get on in 15 minutes, let's get on, and finally, after like 4 or 5 tries, we finally got on camera and on Zoom, and he was very, very scattered, and I was, less than enthused about, having to go through all that. But our message was important at the time. We were talking about nuclear weapons workers getting forced to take the jab, and trying to light the torch on that one at the time. So
interesting. I just talked to him for the first time yesterday, and I just. I knew him from Silicon Valley, and I didn't know him, but I knew Frame Technology. I knew InfoSeek. I knew he had been with the guy who supposedly started email on the internet, even though I think it came out of DARPA, and I think I know the folks who were there doing DARPA. But he is one of those guys who's more of a technologist than he is a sales. He's an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his people skills may not be, he's kind of learned them.
Yeah, I'll give him the benefit. Yeah. This is very early. That's extremely early. This is 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, Wozniak.
Yeah.
Wozniak needed jobs.
Yeah.
Just to get out what it is that we're selling,
Yeah, exactly.
And he is man, that guy's a smart guy, but he had some good marketing people as well. I think one of those things is he is kind of one of these polymaths that's interested in all these different things. And I read somewhere where some executives, the most amount of time they spend on any one subject is 7 minutes. Just because when they're running a company, you kind of have to always be, spinning plates. I'll see if I can't reach out to him and meet him. And Tommy, when did you interview him, Tommy?
Probably about a year ago. I think he came on. Let me look it up right now. He came on right after I had on Malone and McCullough and Desmet.
The guy's he's prolific on his Substack. I'll give that to him. He publishes
11
articles a day.
11 months ago, 51 weeks ago, so a year ago.
He's really doing a lot with spaces right now. And have you seen these spaces that have like 8,000 people on Twitter space?
Oh yeah, no, I've had some people be like, Tommy, you got to get in on this, man. And I'm like, I'm permanently banned from Twitter. I'm not allowed back on.
So what was your unforgivable?
I posted an interview with Dr. Malone, like the 10th one I had done.
Oh,
It wasn't even I didn't put a caption on it. I just copy and pasted, uploaded like directly from Spotify.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
I think I also called AOC a dumb bimbo commie. So that I think they did that the same day. So it might have been.
Oh, I'm sure it was the AOC.
It might have been,
Yeah.
but you never know. Sometimes it's Malone, but I may or may not have had a couple beers and called her a dumb bitch. So you know what? Speak truth to power. I don't know. It's but what
now,
is
truth is trickling. Well, maybe Elon's in an expansive mood and he's going to reinstate you. What do you think?
I don't know. I have had people.
We got to get his name on the board.
I have had people tweet at Elon about me, but unfortunately, I think the fact that I have 1,400 followers means I'm not a real mover and shaker of Twitter. I'm not quite Tucker Carlson. Yeah, deep down under all of this is just a seething rage that my podcast doesn't have more viewership. Rogan has yet to interview a guy that's walked on the moon. He hasn't interviewed Mike Durant, the Black Hawk Down pilot, or Ken Allebeck. I interviewed Malone and McCullough several months, but I got banned for interviewing Malone and McCullough too many times before they were ever on Rogan. People are like, I just watched this Joe Rogan Experience episode. Have you ever heard of Dr. Peter McCullough? I'm like, yes. Yeah, I have. There's a reason why I'm on this little known website you don't know about called Rumble. Why aren't you on YouTube? Because I fucking got banned for the guy. Rogan's really pushing the envelope. He's really pushing the fuck off. Would you fuck off? He's doing things that other people are afraid to do. Eat a dick. He's worth $100 million and he's got a corporation behind him. I'm screaming at a camera from a bedroom in Salisbury, fucking Maryland. Fucking eat a dick.
I do like the new camera angle, by the way.
Thank you.
It
wasn't intentional. Wasn't intentional. It's just that it's there, and I've got because I'm a child, I bought an 86-inch flat screen to play video games on, and it is insane. But it takes up like 3 desks, so I have everything. I built this whole room just for the studio, and it has turned into a video game room that I also do podcasts in. So,
well, no one ever will forget the Berlin nightclub episode that you did with.
Oh, it's just zoomed in more. The Berlin nightclub lights are still going. If all else fails, I'm selling coke and running a fucking brothel out of here. If all else fails,
Peter McCullough
loved it.
He loved it. He was like, Tommy, I've never really had this vibe going before.
Yeah, where the ladies at? I do have a fear though, because I'm in a fucking communist city. I do have a fear that someone's gonna like find out with the podcast I'm doing that I am a straight white male with an American flag behind me. And because there's just blue neon, I keep a low profile. I never let wherever I live, I don't tell them I do like, what do you do? And I'm like, I work with audio. I don't, because you never know. Someone's going to watch and be like, oh, I really like it. Some people are going to be like, you're spreading anti-vax propaganda. You're a Nazi. You have Jews in your oven. Like, no, I don't. So I just keep it. And the only people that ever see this are like maintenance guys or delivery guys who tend to be more blue collar and not think that I'm some pansexual witch who wants to overthrow the patriarchy. So they don't mind. But I do fear that because there is a very distinct blue glow in this room, and because I am in an apartment building downtown, that someone somewhere is going to identify the only glowing blue window on the skyline. You'll know. We'll know when Antifa's found me, because a Molotov cocktail will come through this window and burn me to fucking death while we're doing a podcast. And that will be the one that gets me viral.
Well, you could just like put put something on your window. It says like Cherenkov radiation inside or something like that, just for the.
I don't need more agencies visiting me, dude. I'm on enough. I'm pinging enough files and servers and enough agencies already. If it's not Dale, if it's not you, if it's not Allebeck.
Now, I'm not trying to dox you here, Tommy, but you're in Portland, Maine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all farther. We don't want any block addresses or by the YMCA or anything like that.
Listen, I'm the only glowing blue window on the skyline. Luckily, I'm several floors up, so no one can crawl in the window.
So is Portland, Maine woke? Is Portland, Maine woke?
I think so. I don't think it's as bad as Portland,
Oregon.
Oregon.
I just realized I didn't even know what state the other Portland was in.
Oh,
But no, I think this place is, well, one, it's just a much smaller city, so the rot isn't as bad. But I also have noticed that I think everybody here is just high. Like everywhere you go, it just reeks of weed. Get in the elevator, weed. Sauna, weed. Gym, weed. Police car, weed. But it's legal, so it doesn't matter. So like this city has the worst drivers of anyone of, and I've driven in and out of New York City a million times. I've driven in around Atlanta. This city has the worst drivers of any place I've ever seen on earth, but it's not what you would think. It's not the overly aggressive cutting you off. Everyone here is just kind of on like half a dose of Valium. They just,
Seattle.
hey, green light. Yeah, I'll go in a second. I'll go when I feel it's green.
That would be Seattle as well.
No blinker, but they're going 10 under the speed limit. It's just everyone is on Valium, kind of playing bumper cars. And so I'm just screaming in a caffeinated haze full of spinach. And I don't know.
They're waiting for the stop sign to change, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just fucking,
Yeah.
everyone's just going at their own rule. Just whenever you feel like it's, what do you feel that light is? Green? Well, when you're ready.
Cheech and Chong up in smoke. Here we go.
Which is honestly,
keep on knocking, but you can't come in.
You keep on knocking, but you can't come in. But like,
Hey,
all that.
Not to change the subject, but what do you guys think about like Jeff Beck and what's the smoking or the taking care of business guy, Brockman Turner Overdrive?
What?
Any of these things related or not related?
Oh yeah, that guy did just die. What do you think it's what? Do you think it's like vaccine injury?
No, I don't actually. I just think that all of a sudden, like these famous people seem to die in threes. Because we had the two, Jeff Beck, and then
they used to die in threes, and then they introduced vaccine mandates, and now they die in like 30s. But
well, they die in threes every hour.
Yeah.
Well, Presley, she died. She was like just on the
she was
previous night. She had been at the what is it, not the
Golden Globe
award show. I forget what the award show was.
Yeah,
Golden Globes. Yeah, she had just been at the Golden Globes and saw the guy, the actor who won it. It was a very good movie, long movie, but a very good movie. And she had just been there the previous night having interviews and whatnot, and then she's dead the next day. I don't know. I mean, and then she was talking about. She tweeted how much, how important it was for everybody to get vaccinated. She'd been vaccinated, yada yada yada. So it's just, I don't know. It's just. It's easy to pin or suspect that the vaccine's doing all these things, but it seems to be like almost like there's a gathering momentum with these events here in terms of the magnitude and the kind of the severity of some of these outcomes that are happening.
I think you're correct on that. There does seem to be some sort of palpable momentum. I feel like it's like surface cohesion of water. You can feel it kind of, it's no longer just some crazy right-wing figure saying it's vaccine myocarditis. It's seeming like there's no one wants to believe. I don't want to, literally everyone I know and love is vaccinated. As many as jokes as I make about it, no part of me is like, ha, I told you so. But
the CDC is looking into stroke now. I mean,
it does seem like it's becoming undeniable. The water's rising, and no one can convince ourselves that the ship isn't sinking anymore. And I mean, it doesn't matter what happens to me. I'm curious to see what happens because I think it's going to very quickly turn to anger. And that will be fascinating to see where that goes.
Well, the sad thing is the anger's coming from, the unvaxxed towards, a lot of the crap that the vaccinated were saying. And it wasn't like a lot of that. It was just, stupid people like Sean Penn, saying some of the things that they've said publicly and even Biden, for God's sakes, our patience is running out. But, there's, so there's a lot of antipathy toward, I shouldn't say there's not a lot of the unvax, but just in a generic sense, kind of the "I told you so," "you deserve this," blah 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 blah. "Look what you did to us," yada yada yada. So it's more division. It's just rebounded or boomeranged on people, and so and now you're going to see why there was a anti-vax movement to begin with, because people had actually been injured or their children had been injured, and what makes an anti-vaxxer is a previous pro-vaxxer who got injured or their child was injured, and then they started to do a deep dive on the shittiness of the vaccine quote unquote safety protocols and all the infrastructure that's in place there. So and I think that you're just going to see the people who are opposed to vaccines in general grow exponentially here over the next couple of years, just over what's happened here.
I don't even think in my opinion, I don't even think the anger is going to be from the unvet. I can only speak for myself. I don't have any. I said very early on, I'm not getting it. And, if you make me get it, neither of us are going to survive. But aside from that, like I have no ill will towards it. I don't care. I feel bad for people that got it. I feel bad for people that got coerced. I feel bad for people that trusted doctors who normally should be trusted. What I'm talking about is I think the people that got vaxxed to all this time have still not wanted to maybe look under the curtain. They're going to start feeling it because all of a sudden, all these tragic things, so-and-so died, so-and-so got a stroke, so-and-so is Guillain-Barré. Tragedies always suck, but it's completely different when there's a culprit. Your grandma dies, your dog dies. It always sucks. You're always grieving. It's a lot different if someone killed someone. And I think what we're going to start to see is enough of these public events are going to happen of high profile people. And eventually it's going to come out and go, oh, this is what's causing it. And then the one step further is going to be, and they knew. There's going to be some leak. There's going to be some fucking thing that breaks the dam where you're going to see some like April 2020 internal equivalent of Twitter files document from Pfizer or some shit. And it's going to be like, yeah, there's an 800% increase of like fatal myocarditis. And that's going to be scary because all of a sudden you're going to have people who have, once the Overton window has shifted to where everyone can say, oh, this has been caused, and you're not going to be called an anti-vaxxer. The next thing will then be they're going to find the target who caused this. And cancel culture will probably look pale in comparison. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I think you're going to have, at worst case, like wild backlash and just destruction of public companies in terms of their value. I think at worst case, you're going to have people going full on vigilante, which is terrible. And again, I don't condone that. I don't give a shit. Again, I'm not vaccinated. I don't give a fuck. I have my own problems. I'm eating spinach in a room by myself. But
well, I just think people are going to realize that this thing is a little bit more insidious than it was, a lot more insidious than it was made out to be. And I think people are going to start to realize that basically everybody on the planet is going to be exposed to some mRNA plume, whether it comes from a needle or a breath or a contact or what have you.
Yeah.
And just how insidious it is. And so I think we need to really be thinking about a lot about grace, and extending grace to people who were trusting in their environment. And yes. I mean, like I was 20 years ago with the hepatitis B vaccine, almost killed me. So it just like, you trust, and now that trust is gone. And for George, I mean, I'm really, I'm optimistic that I'm thankful that you got the J&J, actually, the adenovirus vector, as opposed to the mRNA. And I'm really kind of anxious to see, what you can stack together to in terms of just normal changes in your normal routines and diet and whatnot, that we next time you go back, maybe not next month, but maybe in 6 months, you've completely reversed these markers. So that would be fantastic to see.
Well, Mike, you threw down the gauntlet. I'm 295. You're 265. We both got 40 to go, brother.
Yep.
We'll
Yep.
do it
Amen.
together. We'll do it
Amen.
together.
All right. All
I
right.
was cheering for both of you until I found out that you were both of very impressive height, and I now am no longer on your side as a 5'9" Irish man. My love is no longer extending to you two tall, beautiful motherfucker. Mike with his hair, George with his height and that perfect smile. I'm getting bitter now. I'm upset that I told you all about the spinach. I now have given you the only ace card I had.
Spinach. Get spinach. Yeah.
Get spinach. That's all I had. If you eat spinach, you too can end up in a neon blue room screaming at a camera by yourself. But gentlemen, let's wrap this shit up.
All right, brother.
George, keep us posted on your recovery. Yeah, look forward to the next one. Mike, I love you, brother. George, I love you, brother.
Love you
Same here.
guys.
Love you all, guys.
See you next
Grace,
month.
love, hell yeah. And take care, everybody. Love each other.